Sometimes the loudest seasons of your life end not with a crash, but with a quiet you didn't choose. You've felt it, haven't you? That moment when God seems to stop speaking, when doors close without explanation, when the familiar fades into silence. It's strange how silence can sound like absence, how stillness can feel like punishment. Maybe what feels like God's distance is actually his nearness in a different form, because sometimes heaven stops shouting not to punish you, but to prepare you. The silence isn't rejection, it's redirection. When God quiets the noise, it's often because he's shifting you from what's loud and temporary. You don't see it while it's happening. You feel the ending, not the becoming. You feel like you've been left behind, when really, you're being led within. And yet, something deep inside whispers, you've carried so much, haven't you? All those moments you asked, where are you? The silence you fear might be the space God is using to shape you. We all walk through seasons where heaven feels quiet, where prayers echo back unanswered. We hold on to people, plans, and versions of ourselves we thought would last forever, because letting go feels like loss. What if the very thing you're clinging to? Today I want to show you 3 truths. 3 divine lessons hidden in silence. Why God removes control to restore trust. Why he releases what hurts to make room for what heals. Each truth will take you deeper into the mystery of divine quiet, where preparation hides beneath stillness and peace grows out of surrender. By the end, you'll see what's falling apart wasn't your ending, it was your becoming. We tell ourselves, if I can just hold this together, I'll be safe. But control is the greatest illusion of all, because the tighter you grip, the more life slips through your fingers. You can't both surrender and steer, and God won't compete with your plans. So sometimes he quiets the world around you to quiet the war within you. You stop hearing answers because he's waiting for your stillness, not your strategy. You stop feeling movement because he's teaching you to trust the unseen. Think of Abraham on that mountain, the knife raised, the promise trembling. He didn't hear the ram until he lifted his eyes. Provision was always there, but not until he released control. So maybe it's time to stop managing your life and start allowing your life. Let it unfold. Let it breathe. He's not taking it away to hurt you. He's making space to bless you. The silence isn't punishment. It's the pause before provision. And peace doesn't come from knowing what's next. It comes from trusting who holds next. The second thing we cling to is the past. We replay old memories like protection, as if remembering pain will somehow prevent it from happening again. But bitterness is a chain disguised as armor, and the more you carry, the less room you have for the new thing God is building. The truth? You can't heal in the same room you were broken in. Sometimes peace begins not with fixing, but with walking away. Remember the Israelites, free from Egypt, yet longing for what enslaved them. They had to stop reaching back for what God had already delivered them from. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's permission to breathe again. You're not erasing what happened, you're releasing what's still happening inside you. So say it softly, even if your voice shakes. I release them. I release me. The silence you feel right now, it might be the sound of heaven cleaning your heart's room. God can't pour new oil into a vessel full of old grief, so he pauses, he lets you rest, and in that holy stillness your soul begins to unclench. We also cling to identity, to who we were when life made sense, because we've mistaken what we do for who we are. When the job ended, when the title shifted, when the familiar crumbled, you thought you lost yourself, but God never builds identity on sand. So when he removes what defined you, it's not rejection, it's redirection. Like clay in the potter's hands, you're being reshaped for something higher. And yes, it hurts to be remade, pressure doesn't feel holy, but every collapse is a calling to rise in a new form. When Joseph sat in that prison cell, forgotten, silenced, unseen, he didn't realize he was in preparation, not punishment. God was not withholding a crown, he was shaping a king. So when heaven goes quiet and you don't recognize your reflection anymore, remember, you're not being undone, you're being redefined. Every silence from heaven is a setup for revelation. The hardest silence is the kind that lingers, the waiting season. The in-between where you're too far from what was and not yet close to what will be. You wake up and pray, but heaven stays still. You ask for signs and all you get is time. But waiting is not wasting, it's weaving. While you see delay, God sees design. While you feel forgotten, heaven is forming foundation. Think of the seed, buried, unseen, surrounded by dirt.
If you didn't know better, you'd think it died. But the silence of the soil is where life begins. So when you can't hear him, trust this. He's not gone. He's gardening. Every root takes time to grow deep before the tree can rise tall. And maybe God's silence isn't distance. It's depth. He's digging you deeper so that when you bloom, the winds won't break you. Don't curse the quiet.
It's where the roots of your faith are learning to hold. What if the silence isn't empty, but sacred? What if it's not God's absence, but his invitation to listen differently? We keep expecting thunder, but God often speaks in whispers. He doesn't always answer your prayer with a plan. Sometimes he answers with peace. When Elijah stood on the mountain, he looked for God in the earthquake, the wind, the fire. But God was in none of them. He came in the still, small voice. That's the voice that doesn't shout over your storm. It settles it. So when you can't hear him in the noise, sit still long enough to realize the silence is the sound of him drawing near. He's not teaching you how to speak. He's teaching you how to hear. And when you finally stop fighting for control, stop replaying the past, stop defining yourself by what broke you, that's when grace floods in. That's when peace stops being a word and starts being your home. Because it was never about losing. It was always about making room for more. Every unanswered prayer, every detour, every ending was a doorway to divine alignment. When you thought heaven was silent, heaven was scripting. When you felt unseen, you were being set apart. The quiet you feared became the cradle of your becoming. So breathe. You made it here not by chance, but by divine choreography. Every silence carried purpose. Every pause held promise. Every not yet was God's way of saying, I'm not finished. And now, as the noise fades and your heart steadies, listen again. Do you hear it? That gentle stillness, that's not nothing, that's him. You can't fill a full cup. And now that yours is empty, watch what he pours in. You've walked through the valley, but you didn't stay there. The silence was never punishment, it was preparation. It was proof that even your breaking was part of your becoming. Let go of what was, trust what will be. Rest in the knowing that what God starts in silence, he finishes in glory. You are safe now, you are seen, and what's meant for you is already on its way. So if heaven feels quiet tonight, don't be afraid. It's not the sound of abandonment, it's the sound of alignment. He's still here, he's still speaking, just softer than before.